Welcome fellow Vikings. This video is going to be how to install a Valheim dedicated server locally on your PC but using Steam command. If you're looking for one how to install it using the Steam UI tools, I have a video. I'm going to link that in my description. If you're looking for how to have a hosted server that I recommend using PingPerfect for, I'm also going to be linked in the description. But this video is going to be how to make a local version of the Valheim server so you can play together with your friends. And there's a number of steps in there. I'm going to outline that in the description. I'm going to go through them one by one, step by step to guide you through it. And if you enjoyed this guide, why not hit that like button on the video and maybe subscribe as well to my channel. But first of all, you need to download Steam Command, which is a Steam application that is run from the command prompt. The link is in the description here for the Steam. And then there's a link down here to the installer. It's a zip file that you click on and download. And once you've downloaded, I would recommend put it on C drive and make a folder called Steam Command to put it inside, because all the things are going to be instructed in there. Basically go into it, take a copy of it, and then go back and paste it. And now you have Steam Command. You're not going to run it here because it requires the command prompt. So go and open a command prompt, and we then navigate to the correct folder, and we do here. You see Steam Command is there. Going to run it, and it will actually start to install itself because it's more than just that exe file. It's the whole Steam Command system that Steam has developed, which is actually really powerful for installing a bunch of the servers that they actually provide. After a while, it'll be done, and then we're going to do a login anonymous. They can spell that correctly, and that basically tells the Steam servers that actually your anonymous login, you're not using your user ID, your Steam ID, because you generally don't need to do that for server download. Once you've done that, and of course you need to log in, otherwise you can't download anything. Once you've done that, you do a force install directory, C Steam Command and the Valheim, because that creates the directory structure that it's actually going to be putting everything inside. And now we're ready to install it. We do app_update 896660, which is the Valheim server. It will start downloading it and installing it in the location that we just set up here, the Valheim folder. It will take a while. It's about a 1 GB download. So once that is done, we just exit because we don't need that one anymore. And we're going to minimize this. I'm going to minimize this as well. I am then going to be bringing up the actual Steam Command folder that you can see is install Steam Command. All this is Steam Command handling that, and Valheim folder that we just set before. And this is the Valheim server. First thing to do, we're going to make a copy of the start bat file. We're going to make this the active one. The reason being is that if you update this server again, and the way to update again is just go into Steam Command again, run the app update 896660 again, and it will update the latest version. But if you do that, it will overwrite everything you have in here, including the bat file that you probably have edited to specify your world name, etc. So make a copy of that one, otherwise it will vanish once there's an update that you're doing. But open up the bat file, edit it, and you'll see some tips here that tells you about which ports you need to forward, and we'll get into that in a little bit. It tells you that you need to have a password that's at least 5 characters. So we're going to see here, this is just my server name. It can be whatever it is. Port 2456 is the standard port. You can actually change that, but I would just leave it if you don't need to. The world, so we're going to change it. This is the name which corresponds to the save file. So we're going to call it Veduis game instead. Actually, Veduis game like that. And password is not going to be secret. We're going to change it to very secret 1. So basically we have now the name, just what it's called, but we have this is the save file, Veduis game, with the password very secret 1. Done. Save that, and you've edited the bat file. Now here you can actually have a look. There's some more information here. If you want to have more information, double click and open up the PDF file. And here you'll have a bunch of information about how the server won, how to run it, and the recommendation to make a copy of the file. There'll be some information about the different options that you have, the port, the number, the world, the password, and all that stuff as well. So you can have a look at this as well. It just gives you some additional information. But essentially, it's been installed. So we're going to double click the bat file here. It's saying starting server, and it says that type ctrl-c to actually exit the server. We're not going to do that yet. We're going to do that later on when we shut things down, but just let things load. It will tell you that, hey, I have a new server here. Don't Lock it in the Defender firewall. Make sure you hit allow access, because if you don't do that, it will be blocked. And the next time you try, it will not generally prompt you for this. So don't hit cancel, hit allow access. Otherwise, you're going to have to add that manually, which is a lot more tedious. So we're going to do that. Yes, allow access. It's still building up here. And finally, it says game server connected, and that means it has been started up. And before we actually log into the server to verify that it's working, we're going to talk a little bit about port forwarding. Now, so what happens is that when you install this on your local PC, you will be able to access it, and if assuming you've opened the firewall, you'll be able to access it from your PC and from other PCs on the same LAN. However, if someone is trying to, let's say your friend is trying to connect outside of your network through your internet, they will need to go through your router. In order for the router to direct the traffic correctly to your Valheim server that you have on your PC, you need to do some kind of port forwarding. This is something that is really tricky because a lot of people have a lot of issue getting this correct because they don't normally do that very often and they don't quite know how their router works. And it can be really tricky and really frustrating. What you want to find is some information such as the manual of your specific brand, specific model of your router. That could be a physical paper manual, it could be a PDF on your install CDs or something, or maybe even search the manufacturer website. But you need the information of how you actually do this. On mine, I basically specify name and I specify the ports, which is 2456 to 2458, always on. IP address, this is my local PC, not my router PC. And again, also UDP. You want to do TCP and UDP and allow all on the inbound filter. This is how I do it on my router. Yours likely looks slightly differently, but essentially it should be the same functionality. If you fail to do the port forwarding correctly, you'll be able to connect locally from your PC, but no one else will be able to do that outside. In some cases, I have seen ISPs actually block inbound traffic, which is really painful if that happens, but it's super rare. It does happen. Most of the time, if you have problem with friends connecting, it's the port forwarding. We're going to go into the game here. I'm going to use my vet test character and don't hit start game because that's going to start another local instance that's going to cause some problems. We're going to do join game, and this is where you run into that blasted server browser that is causing a lot of problems. So instead we're going to do join IP. I'm going to do my IP 192.168.1.107 as you saw in my port forwarding, and 2456. This is the IP, my local IP, and my port. Now if your friends are going to do that, they're going to have to connect through your router IP, your external WAN IP. It will be on the actual router. If you check the status there, it'll tell you what's their external IP. But this is my local IP because I'm on the same PC effectively. I'm going to hit connect. And you see it's asking me for my password, which was very secret one. Let's see if that one is accepted. Yes, it was. You feel cold. I have spawned into the game. It worked. It worked just fine. I am cold, but at least I am on the server. Perfect. That's exactly what we want to do. Now we're going to exit out of this. Just quit out. We're going to hit ctrl-c here to shut down the server. It'll do something. Terminate batch job. Yes, done. The server has been shut down. Now you might be wondering, where does it save all these things? And this is actually important if you're running a dedicated server because you want to take some backups. It's generally within your users, AppData, LocalLow, IronGate, Valheim, and Worlds, unless you've actually specifically changed it. The one we're talking about here is this one, the Vidui's game. There's the this one, the old one, and there's the old one here as well. Now I haven't built anything, so this one is going to be really small, but as you build, the DB file will grow. This one will generally stay very small. They have changed and updated this a little bit to have a little bit more backup and a little bit more resilience, but these three files is basically the files that you are backing up when you are doing maintenance on your server. And the file name will correspond to the world name that you put in the bat file. And that's it. You've now learned how to download SteamCMD, install it, install the server, how to configure it, how to start it, how to verify that it's running, a little bit about the firewall and port forwarding, how to shut down the server, and where the save files are. So go enjoy your dedicated server, and hopefully you've enjoyed this guide. And again, if you want to run a 24/7 server, doing it on your dedicated is possible. But if you can't do that because you can't keep your PC running all the time, of course your PC has to be running all the time, otherwise the server will not be running, you can always consider a hosted solution. I do have a video of how to do a hosted solution with PingPerfect in the description below if you're interested. I have an affiliate link and a 10% discount code monthly. But do check out the playlist in the description for more of my Valheim videos. Enjoy yourself, and I'll catch you again, Viking.
Special thanks to the great patrons supporting the channel. If you would like to join the vetted community and support these videos, do follow the Patreon link.